1% coins, 99% stocks.
Well, yeah, because...
No, I'm only kidding. 50-50 is fine.
Okay, because, that's where I am. I'm in commodities mostly, but I've actually done really well in the market as well, and I'd kind of like to keep rolling along with that.
Well, I think that's a good formula.
There's nothing wrong with taking profits off the table.
Well, that's right, especially when the market, you should see the figures I've got. Trailing earnings on the S&P are 24.5. What's normal? 14.5. And the whole thing is floating on a flood of money from the Fed and fiscal deficits. This market is very reminiscent of 1932 when it dropped 72%. So, get your parachute on. You're going to need it.
Well, Dave, I'm sitting here thinking, listening to you guys talk, if you're going to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, be light on your feet because your toes will get stepped on.
I hear you.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Dave, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Philosopher?
Yes?
Gold is up another 190 in the access market. I just thought I'd tell you.
Well, I bring Robbie Noel on because he's the broker for Republic Trading, and I hear more out of him about stocks than I do about gold or silver. You're the guy.
Well, there's only one thing to do, nail his feet to the floor.
Dan in Illinois. Hello, Dan. Hi.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. My question is, will the rate of inflation equal that of the rate of gold price increase? In other words, when we go into this hyperinflation, are we better off maybe buying commodities as far as canned goods, ammunition, and hope that we can stay alive with our customers?
Well, the first line of defense is always freeze-dried, dehydrated foods, water filter, and something to defend your family. After you get that in line, if you have money to invest, it's in gold and silver area.
Now,
there's no place else to go. You're in the biggest bull market in history, probably the biggest bull market in the history of mankind. And if we do have hyperinflation, which there's a good chance that we will, followed by a deflationary depression, you could see gold up at 6,000, 3,000, who knows? And so the answer to the question is that's where you want to be. Don't mess around with other things. Don't trade because you don't know how to. And I was a professional trader for 25 years of the 28 years that I was a broker, and I did all my own trades personally. And I'm telling people they shouldn't trade. Go long and stay long. And if you can't do that, well, you're going to have to come to terms with your own personality and decide how much risk you want to take.
Yeah, Dan, the question I have for you, you mentioned business. Do you have your own business?
I grow produce.
Okay.
And my question is more like in the physical exchange between my neighbors rather than not on the market whatsoever.
Well, what I would do is I'd get your neighbors to buy silver, and I'd be trading my vegetables for their silver.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people, this has dropped off the radar scope. The only people that talk about it are people like ourselves. But if you look at the different currencies during the Depression that cropped up, I think, what was there, Bob? Over 4,000 different currencies. None worth more than, I would say, another, but they saw the problem with the banking system, and they decided, well, if we're going to keep doing business, then we've got to do it with something else. I think this time around, and keep in mind the parallels between 1929 and 2009, there's no similarities at all. This is going to be a deep, dank, dark depression. They're saying I'm seeing some...
But Bernanke said that the recession is technically over. Well, tomorrow he's going to come out and say inflation is not a problem.
Well, you and Ben can go fly a kite because that's about what that's worth.
Now, keep in mind, this is if the government allows me to grow produce and sell it to anybody.
Well, there you go. They think you're going to let you do that?
Oh, I think they might have to.
Yeah. Well, look, everything attains a currency value.
Yeah.
You may look at a chicken today as a chicken, but, when times are tough, that chicken has a monetary value.
Yeah. Thanks, gentlemen.
All right, Dan. I appreciate your call, Dan. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tom in Florida. Hello.
Salt used to be money.
I'm sorry?
Salt used to be money. And
wampum.
And wampum.
Well, look, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be barterable or tradable. People are going to want a chicken. Hey, do you got a pack of cigarettes? Hey, it's my birthday next week. I'll trade you these 3 chickens or 4 or 5 chickens for a bottle of that cheap vodka you got.
And that pack of cigarettes is $10 in New York City.
That's a heck of a cluck, isn't it? All right, we'll take the break. 800-313-9443. We'll return with your calls right after this. Dan in Indiana. Hello, Dan. Oh, what? Next one. Tom in Florida. Hello, Tom.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I've been listening to what you all have to say, and I was thinking, what would happen if, as far as people having a viable money supply, why couldn't we just go back using what's left of our old junk silver, as well as get the mint to go ahead and recoin our dimes and our quarters and our 50-cent pieces and our dollars back in silver? It would look identical to what we pass around now, which is the junk, the pot metal. But they were, let's say, on $1, it would be a 17-to-1. As far as the new silver, the real silver, as opposed to the old silver.
Tom, do you know how hard you make it when you start thinking like that? Do you know how hard you make it for the shysters of the planet?
Yeah, but there's one problem with that theory.
What's that?
There's not enough silver to make the coinage.
Well,
and the government has no silver.
Yeah.
They'd have to go out and buy it, taking it up to $100 an ounce. You're being logical. These people don't work by logic. They work by criminal activity. And they don't care about you or your money or anything that you have, and they believe all of your wealth belongs to them because they allowed you to make it.
That is exactly right. And a lot of people, Bob, have the hard time buying into that philosophy, but you are exactly right. You're just something to be bled to death, and let's steal all your riches while we can. These people they're worse than sociopaths. We've got to invent a new term for them because they're willing to destroy countries and cultures. Do you think they care one whip about a person and their feelings about what they're doing? They're demonstrating how exactly they feel about you right now. So, Tom,
and they think that you are human cattle.
Yep.
To be taxed to death.
Yep.
This has gone on for centuries.
And
it's never going to stop unless we get the opportunity that they've opened the window, which they have, and everything goes haywire, and the public has to take over the government and march these people out, try them, and hang them for treason. All of them.
I like the sign 912. We have a bunch of pictures up on the website. The one guy with the placard that read, "We came this time without guns." Tom,
I love it.
Yeah, Tom, you make a lot of sense, but why is there not more gold and silver on the market right now? That's still my question. We're watching the IMF. They're entertaining the idea here of selling off tons, and who knows how many tons it is of gold to China.
China go, we'll take it.
Yeah, of course they will. And China is turning around and selling the U.S. paper. What Nimrod, Robbie, is buying this stuff in Africa anyhow? Or is it South America? But they're selling the paper to somebody.
Well,
who are you speaking of? The U.S. Treasury?
Yeah.
52% of all the paper that's been sold this year has gone to the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, okay.
Figures just came out yesterday.
Well, they monetized half of it, but what I'm saying is the paper, the Treasury, that China is holding right now, they're dumping off into another country.
Well, actually, they increased their purchases last month by $24 billion, but that doesn't explain all the other money that they've been laying off, dollars, I should say, They're laying off by buying gold and silver and commodities and making deals and all kinds
Here's
of
my
stuff.
question. Okay, so if they bought the billions last month and they're pawning this off to somebody else, what happens when the United States dollar collapses? What is China's obligation on this deal, and who's going to be ending up with no chair to sit in?
Well, I think China for themselves are finally doing the right thing. The real culprits are the British and the United States. There are others who are almost equally as wrong about what they've done, but this system has been deliberately destroyed.